Hi, I'm Dan Crosier. I'm here for COFOH Live Undead. I'm with the Broadway Halloween Parade Organizers with, now correct me if I'm wrong, is it the Broadway Merchant Association?
Baker Broadway Merchant Association.
Okay, Baker Broadway Merchant Association.
Yeah,
nice.
long, a lot of syllables.
Yeah, very much so. And I'm with Marty Levine and Matt Greer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and actually having me over at the Wizard's Chest. This place is insane.
You are in the castle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And deep down in the castle.
Yeah. In the depths.
Nice. So a little bit about COFOH, Colorado Festival of Horror. We're getting ready to do our first year event, which will be next September the 11th to the 13th of 2020. And as part of that, we've been doing this interview series, probably since March. I think you guys are like my 11th or 12th interview. Nice. Last night interviewed the Enigma. So this is that was to kick off the Halloween season for us. So you guys are the second part of that. Awesome. And man, I can't wait to hear more about the Halloween parade.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming really fast.
Soon. A couple days out. So.
Yeah, Saturday. I mean, you guys must be pulling your hair out.
Well, the person that sets it all up, the two that are really good are Aaron and Maggie. Maggie Thompson with the city, and Aaron Claxton, who's our kind of associate director. She's amazing. She does all the dirty work, so she has all the hair pulling out stuff going on. So.
She gets down and dirty and that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel a little innocent too because our costume manager is the one that's doing everything for us, and she's this is a little sneak preview of something you're going to see in the parade. But she's been in here very late hours sewing and stapling and gluing, and we've got some really cool stuff planned.
Oh man, yeah. And this is the third time that you've done this. Have you all been a part of that before? Oh, is that sound of God?
I can make that. Let Marty talk about the parade while I hit that.
Yeah.
It is the third year. We had been talking about it on and off for a couple years before that, but it's really complicated to organize something like this. You think you can just do it, but there's permitting and meters and police and getting sponsors and getting just people to have some general interest in it. But once we did it the first time around, the second year was almost easy. People were like, that was awesome. Yeah. We're all signing up. We're all lining up to get in and do it again. So now the third year, obviously the logistical things that are complicated, parking and transportation and some of that, but it's people are stoked and want to dress up and get out there and do a parade. So.
Yeah, that's such a wonderful idea too. Like, when it comes to Halloween, I normally wouldn't really associate like a parade with part of that, but I think there's been a bit of a tradition, in different smaller towns and stuff doing something like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of a party. We've got marching bands and we've got so it's loud and there's lots of kids in the parade and there's lots of adults and there's floats and it's got a good mix of everything. You're not just watching floats go by. It's a little bit of everything, and we make weird costumes. Other people are making weird costume stuff. Like we don't know what we're gonna see, and that's fun as you're watching it, and all this creative stuff goes by, and you're like, oh wow, I never thought of that. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It feels like such a nice like kind of a community event. Yeah, everybody coming out. The neighborhood comes out, supports, right, and then as well as the local businesses and everything too.
Yeah. So initially, one of our thoughts was because Broadway is kind of an eclectic. This neighborhood, this part of Broadway, I shouldn't say all Broadway. It's just the central corridor. And for years and years, I'm a local timber guy, and so it's had its mix of different things over the time and a little bit of grittiness to it. And we initially wanted to have kind of more of an adult event where it was kind of scary and it's hard to do that. All of a sudden you're like, well, kids want to come see it. So we didn't really tone it down. It toned itself down to fit kind of everybody. You still have, the flame throwing, as I showed you the picture of the flame throwing,
the hearse
and their looking crew. And
it
was really cool. So, I mean, it kind of fit for everybody. And after the first year, we're looking on the sidelines of people there. People are dressed up.
Yeah.
And it's a week or so before Halloween, so the spirit was high and everybody was happy to roll.
Well, because if you remember being a little kid, you know, you get your costume early in October, and then you don't get to wear it. And so the kids are so excited because they're like, now I get to put my costume on before Halloween.
Yeah.
And when we're walking in the parade and you're handing out candy, all these kids have their costumes on.
Nice.
And it's so much fun for them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's absolutely great. Now, and you know, you both, Matt, you manage Wizard's Chest.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is it just a department, or are you the general manager?
So I'm kind of the floor manager. I do a lot of the you know, nitty gritty stuff of scheduling everybody and money and stuff. We have a costume manager, we have a games manager, and they kind of work in the specific departments, and I'm more kind of all over the place.
Okay.
But I mean, I've worked for this store on and off for 12 years. I worked here as a student in college, and I'm from Denver too. I bought my first Halloween costume over in Cherry Creek at the old Wizards.
Oh, cool.
And you know, we moved to Broadway 4 years ago, and in Cherry Creek, that's not a very festive neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot of people coming by in their costumes and stuff. And when we came over here, it was a really cool opportunity to be in the community and to have kind of what we're doing go out onto the street and have everyone kind of having Halloween together.
Yeah, I remember the old location. It felt like everything was on top of each other, even in the parking lot. You know, but it was still such a wonderful, magical place. And to see you guys, you know, be able to expand at this location, and it's so much more engaging. There's that feeling that you walk into like Hogwarts or something as soon as you walk in. And for me, with my ADD, I get overstimulated. It's like, oh, I want to do everything in here.
Yeah.
And Marty, you're a local business owner as well. What is it that you do?
I own I got my shirt on. Push Gym, so Push Fitness and Physical Therapy. We do. I'm a physical therapist by trade.
Okay.
And over the years, learned to do a lot of personal or fitness training. So we do small group fitness classes, a lot of high intensity stuff. It's not easy. It's not crazy difficult. I mean, it can be. It depends on how hard you want to work. And then during the day, we fix people that are broken a little bit.
Oh,
and a lot of
nice.
we have about 10 or 12 personal trainers that work for me, kind of on and off throughout the day. And so they come and go. And I've been in the neighborhood 15 years now as of last month. And
so I've seen a lot of change.
A lot of change, and about 7 years ago, we started looking into just trying to get to know some more neighbors, and that's how we got the Merchants Association kind of back up and running.
Oh, great!
Because there were some old associations, but this one is a little more vibrant, a little more meaty than the others that had been over time. So
nice. Yeah, it seems like you really want to engage with the community and support local businesses and everything too. Do you have other events and things of that nature that you organize, or is it?
We're doing stuff all the time. We do Denver Comic Con, we do game conventions all the time, but most of that is we're leaving the store, and we're going somewhere for it. And this is really something that comes to us. In fact, the first Broadway parade, the Halloween parade, started down at 3rd in front of 7-Eleven.
Oh.
Yeah, and last year it moved up to 5th, so now it's starting right in front of the castle. So when I'm telling customers to come to the parade, I'm like, just come down on Saturday, right in front of our store is exactly where it begins. And that's cool for us because our staff that's working gets to go to the window and watch, and everybody gets off and they go out, and it's so much fun. Because we sell people our costumes and stuff, and then they go out and party, and we kind of miss the party, and that's our night to really celebrate with everybody. We all have so much fun with it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And the parade route goes all the way to Alameda. Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
And that's kind of the heart of the local business part of Broadway. We're going past Mutiny Coffee and Metal Arc or Metropolitan and all this stuff out there. And so, people come out of bars and they come out of their houses and stuff because this is a diverse community. You've got hipsters and families and older folks and students and kind of everybody is local in a way where, Denver has a lot of transplants and stuff, but these are all kind of people that have more settled into city and been here for a while. And so they all kind of come out and we all do it together.
Nice.
And then illegal pizza can't speak. At the end of it,
you neither, huh?
There's a couple of places, there's a couple of events along the way, but as you're going down there, Illegal Pizza's having a big post event. So, they've been advertising for that. And I think there's a couple of smaller ones along the way that people have kind of set up little face painting things and other along the routes you'll see as you walk through it. But,
and I don't know how you guys felt, but the first year we were nervous. We didn't know if anybody was going to come.
Right. Yeah.
And
super nervous.
Yeah.
And then we turned the corner and there was people lined up down the streets. I'm like, whoo.
Yeah.
Because you had no idea. And I had kind of scanned it a little bit because I was helping kind of move people around and organize a little bit. So I saw some of it earlier before it started, but you were like, all right. So you kind of knew it.
Nice.
So,
and then last year was even bigger. I mean, it's like, if it grows this year the way it was last year, we're going to have the whole city here.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. Please bring it. Yeah. We definitely want that. A little bit more like, personal about you guys, have you always been a fan of like Halloween and horror genre? Or, Yeah.
But as I was saying earlier, I'm not the horror genre guy. I do love Halloween, and that doesn't mean I'm anti-horror. It wasn't in my wheelhouse, but I do like seeing all the fun. Like I tell you that I was showing you pictures of the big wheel guys. They had like dressed up as
I love those guys.
Parade and all the hearse cars, and there was a bunch of other kind of macabre looking stuff, and I just thought it was excellent. So but I love Halloween too. It's just always fun.
Nice.
There's a dance troupe. I don't know if they're coming this year, but the last 2 years they dressed as zombies and did the Thriller dance.
Oh, cool.
And it's like 50, 60 people.
Yeah, you did show me photos of that.
And they're all just completely in sync, and they got the music blasting, and they're all doing the zombie stuff.
That's cool. That's so that's
so cool.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I love Halloween. It's always been my favorite holiday. Other holidays are just kind of a little mellower, and Halloween is about like, let's get crazy and dress up and make some noise. And, there's kind of that scary element of you're out after dark and you don't quite know what's going to happen.
It's exhilarating. It's it really gets the dopamine going,
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And the parade happens at dusk, and so it's kind of that feeling of like, ooh, all the spooks are coming out. All the zombies and vampires are going to come and jump into the parade.
So, dusk. What time does it start?
6.
So by the time by the second half of it, it's getting dark. And toward the end, when the last people are coming around, it's full dark, and that's when we sent the flamethrower.
Nice.
Out there. So.
Yeah, flames go great against the night sky.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to what Marty was saying, is you can front load it with the kids and kind of, the stuff that everybody wants to see, and then in the back, like those hearses are really intense.
They are.
And we're doing a little sneak preview. A lot of our stuff is going to glow, so we're counting on it to be dark when our flow is coming through, and so.
Cool.
You kind of get to play with all the parts of Halloween. It's a little scary over here. It's a little fun over here. Candy everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do this without candy.
No, we eat so much candy here during October.
I bet. Yeah, it's like, oh, jeez. Yeah, and it's not. It doesn't help anything that like November is the next month, and you got to work towards Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and then you got to go to your gym in January and just work all that off.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Last year, on Thursdays I always play oldies music.
Okay.
So I went through, and some of it wasn't as old, but and nobody could guess what it was for a little while. But I started playing a list of all people that had died.
Oh, wow.
So all crazy like workout music from all these people that were dead, and people are like, I don't get the flow of these playlists at all. And I'm like, well, just wait a little while. You'll see.
Little Bowie, little Prince, little Freddie Mercury.
Smalls,
One after
there's no flow.
Tupac. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's funny because in the store we play music year round, and most of the time it's just kind of Harry Potter and Disney songs and the kind of stuff you would associate with our store. But then we have the Halloween playlist, and that one is, Misfits songs and horror movie scores. Nice. And so you're walking along and you hear...
John Carpenter.
Yeah, you hear that while you're walking around, and at night it's dark, and I'm the only one in the building, and I'm like, it's a little intense.
Yeah, a little Dario Argento.
Yeah, exactly. Suspiria, definitely,
Goblin, that did that. Oh my gosh, Yeah, that would be intense. I would not want to be in this store if that would soundtrack.
Well, there was one night everybody left, and then I forgot to do something in here, set the alarm or send an email or something. So I had to come back in the building, and I come in and all the lights are out and the Michael Myers music is playing.
Oh crap!
And I was just in here with the lights on. I know it's safe, but we got a big castle here. And I was like, there's probably somebody in here somewhere.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be pretty unnerving. Friday the 13th.
But yeah, exactly. That's the fun of Halloween, though. Is there's a little danger, like.
Yeah, it's not too fun unless there's that element of danger that it's like something could happen. Somebody could get hurt. Let's hope not.
Absolutely, yeah. We want to,
especially as event organizers. Let's hope not.
Oh no, it's funny. We had to get. You have to have liability or parade insurance, which is actually a thing. It's listed. Thing, and there's a ton of questions about safety, and you can't throw things into the crowd, and are there nowadays you got to worry about terror and anybody who's there to watch. In the city, you work out a deal with the city, so they kind of cover all those bases for you because there's police on every corner, which make it safe. But it's there's always a little danger with every little thing, and accidents happen. But hopefully this is a pretty safe event. It's pretty slow paced. It's not like it's pretty short, and there's no turns, and everyone's just
a
right
straight
down Broadway
procession.
And that's walking in the parade. That's what's so cool is you're just going down the blocks and you just see just people lining the street, and they all just came out to watch us and to see what we put together. So all year we're thinking about it. Like, it's such a challenge to us to have a really good concept and really just put so much work into it because we want to show off, and we want everyone to really be impressed with what we've done.
And the merchants like it because they can kind of, we ask them to, either have something on the sidewalk, do something exciting, or do something Halloween-y, doctor up your storefront, do something for the the event, because you might have a bunch of people that it's free advertising. They're coming down and they see your store, they didn't know it was there. They see a restaurant they didn't know existed. So it's it gets a lot of other secondary gains out of it as well. So
I was just thinking about about that when people coming down. Before, earlier this year, I think you already had the Denver zombie crawl, downtown
on the mall
and everything like that. Be interesting to see, what some of the, the young kids, in their 20s, doing the bar crawls or something like that, as the Halloween, because I don't think that makes it all the way down here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Denver, this is. The city's growing so much right now, and you have so many people that move here, and they don't kind of know the parts of the city outside downtown. That's kind of where you start, and then when you branch out, and so people might come over to Broadway to go see a show or go to a bar or something like that. But if they come to watch a parade and they see all these businesses and they're walking down the street and they see everybody involved, and they're like, "What a great neighborhood! I got to come back here. I want to go shopping, and I want to have dinner here, and I want to go to the Mayan and see a movie and all that stuff."
That's fantastic. With the parade. How many floats or acts do you have?
I believe it's roughly 50 floats or groups that will be
that's
marching or walking. Number. Now you got to remember that could be, the city council people. They have just a little small group of folks, and then there'll be a marching band, and there may be somebody just with a car, like somebody. Like there was that gremlin I showed you. That's an entrance. So some are bigger than others. And that's if everybody shows up. There's always a
stragglers
that may not show up at the last, couldn't make it or couldn't get it together. There's some that are more spread out too. The hearse guys are. And I don't know how we counted those guys, because there was like 18 or 20 of their car, I think.
For this
there's
year?
so many of them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're standing there watching them go by, and they're all customized.
And they kind of spins, kind of serpentine down the street. So
I've been to HearseCon and see them. They're just parked and on display and everything, and they're pretty intense. But this will be nice seeing them actually driving around and operating.
Well, and you got to remember, Denver is the biggest city on the Front Range and the biggest city for quite a while, north, south, east, west. And so people come from Wyoming and New Mexico and all this stuff. We sell makeup to people that come to zombie crawl from Montana. And so like when we have this big parade and people are like, I want to be a part of that, they're willing to travel for it because this is the only place you're going to get that. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh.
You know, I got to break.
You got to get going?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other last couple questions you had for me.
I think we're probably in a good stopping point.
Yeah, I
can talk to you about the store if you want to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
Appreciate it, Marty.
I had to schedule my schedule.
No, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. That's the thing about running your own business. Do you want to do a plug of your business?
Yeah,
real
come
quick?
to Push Gym if you want personal training, small group training, or physical therapy. We it's hard. It's fun. Good web. The website describes everything you need to see. Our Instagram pages covers a lot. I'm back in.
Yeah, you gotta go for it. Yeah.
Covers a lot of what we do, and we're locally owned and just small business owner here, trying to compete with all the big gyms around town.
So Let's do.
Yeah, you guys too. Yeah.
No, I'll leave here at 8:00 at night, and I drive down Fifth, and you guys always got people in there. And I'm
just going to town. Yeah. Nice, good, hard
working point. So.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll see you Saturday.
We'll play email tag. So
yeah.
All right,
see you Saturday. Can't wait.
I'll see you Saturday.
Thanks,
right,
Marty.
Fellas. Enjoy. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've been working 12 years off and on for
so
Wizard's Chest?
So I grew up in Denver, very close to the old location in Cherry Creek. And Cherry Creek, I don't want to disparage any part of Denver, but the neighborhood has changed a lot, and now you got to have a certain amount of money in your wallet to really get anything done in Cherry Creek. And so for us, we kind of felt like, well, is this really a neighborhood that fits us anymore? And so we moved over here 4 years ago, December 2015. Twice as much space. So we have so much more stuff. We have way more games. We got way more product.
Yes, you do.
If you haven't gone downstairs, we have 2 big game rooms. They're full every night with people playing Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and stuff. Yeah.
That's great.
You can go to wizardchess.com. We have an events calendar, but I look at the store like a clubhouse. And so all these people that are going to be gaming, instead of doing it in somebody's garage or in their basement or whatever, they can come do it here. And then they're hanging out here. If you need to buy some last minute paint or dice, you can get that from us. And and those guys, we know them. And so we see them come in and we're talking to them and we're like, have you heard about this new game coming out?
That's great. It creates a sense of community.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's what's cool about coming over to this neighborhood is that all these kids come in, especially with Stranger Things. D&D is so popular with young kids right now. And I feel like every day I'm talking to some parent that comes in with their 12-year-old and they're like, hey, we want to get a campaign going. How do we do it? And I'm like, well, we're going to go downstairs. I'm going to set you up with everything.
Cool.
And then they all come back and you get to know them and you watch them grow up. And it's very
that's
local.
Cool. Yeah. I come from like the comic book community.
Same thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, going to the store, I self-publish comics, but, going to the stores and seeing, like the game rooms and stuff and, D&D and everything like that. A lot of the times, you've got that kind of, stigma of back when I was growing up, it's not so much the case anymore, but back then, you had that stigma of like, oh, it's, that stuff's for nerds and all that. And it's like, so with that stigma, you were kind of dissuaded from going and connecting with your peers.
Yeah.
And nowadays you have places like this, and you've got comic book shops, and you've got conventions and fantasy and sci-fi conventions.
It's such a great time to be a geek right now. It's incredible. And it's, if you're into the superheroes and Marvel and stuff like that, if you're into horror, if you're into gaming, we got
all pop culture.
All of it. And what's really crazy right now is that there's so much electronic stuff. I have a PlayStation, everybody's playing video games and stuff, that sometimes people want to do something that's physical and analog and not electronic, and they come in here and like we have a big wall downstairs of demo games. So a group of friends will come in and they'll grab a bunch of games and sit down in the game room, and they're there for 4 hours just trying stuff out, and then they buy it and they're gonna have a game night now, and it really does connect people. And also we have the game section, we have the costume section. Not a lot of stores have that. They either have costumes or games. So we're not just a hub for gamers. Yeah. We're a hub for drag queens. We're a hub for all the high school plays are getting their makeup here. The strippers come in and buy glitter, and everybody. We welcome everybody because we have a huge magic counter, and not a lot of people can find some super weird magic tricks, but we got 3 or 4 magicians that work here, and they'll come in here and talk to those guys, and they'll special order the stuff for them, and they'll teach the kids the tricks, and a little bit of everything.
Sounds like you have a number of, like, not only with the the parade, but internally you have all kinds of events and workshops and stuff going on too.
And we want it to be that way. Like our gaming events go after hours. So on a typical right now we're extended hours for Halloween, but in season we close at 7. Yeah. Those guys are here till midnight. And there will be 40 or 50 people sitting downstairs playing D&D, and we trust all of them because we know all of them, and they just came here to game, and so it's great. We set up some tables and we let them go to town and they get some food, and that's the community. It's really, really nice.
That's pretty cool. And I know we already talked a little bit about Wizard Chest in Cherry Creek. How far back did that actually start?
1983.
No, 1983. 1983.
It's actually a date myself. It was the year I was born. So I am as old as the Wizard Chest.
That's all right. I'm older than you.
Okay.
Well, no worries.
Most of the people I hire are like 22, so I feel it. It's like sports where like I'm the old man in this world. Yeah. But it started by a woman named Betty Arca in a storefront in Cherry Creek. Moved to a bigger location down there at 2nd and Fillmore, moved to the middle of the block between 2nd and 3rd on Fillmore, and then now it's over here. And, Cherry Creek is fine, but Broadway, we got a lot of people, and you get a lot of traffic. And one experience that I have that's really, really cool is tourists will come in, and they'll be like, I was driving down the street, and I saw this castle, and I had to see what it was about. Yeah. And so they don't know, no one told them about us. They don't know anything about us, but they come in and they're just like, look at all this stuff, and they buy some games and they get a wig. And
that's great.
It's really awesome. And cool. And we have an online store now. So people come in and buy a couple things and then they go home to Texas or wherever, and then they buy more stuff online and we'll ship it to them. Because
that's cool.
Yeah. Some of these games and costume items, they're really hard to find. Yeah. And so we want everybody all around the world to get them.
Yeah, if they're having problems having a hard time finding a particular item or something, they can just come to you maybe. And you can source it.
Mm-hmm, nice. Totally. Our games manager is an incredible guy that he reads up on all the games. He listens to the podcasts about them and stuff. And so sometimes I'll be like, look, I don't think this game's even in print anymore, but here's his email address. Cool. Give him a call, see if you can get it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, as we talked before, I've got some friends that work here and help me on film and stage production stuff, doing makeup. So it's fun watching people doing their own independent projects, come here and sourcing stuff out, whether it's costuming or props or makeup or something I can't even think of.
I just sold some wigs to my friends for their music video for their band.
What's the band?
Their name is Princess Dewclaw. Dewclaw on SoundCloud. Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
They're really, really awesome. They're like a synthy pop punk band that's very gothic and very kind of. Cool. It's like a pink haunted house is kind of the best way to describe them.
That's great.
But they just shot a music video and they got some wigs from us. And I have a friend that makes commercials and he came in and bought a mustache from us. And
nice.
It's the kind of store where when you can't find the stuff anywhere else, we probably have it.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool.
And coming over to Broadway, we've just been thriving. I mean, it's so great because doing the parade, we just weren't sure if it would be a thing that people would be interested in. And the first year was a big success. And then last year was huge. And I don't know how this year's going to go, but, my boss joked to me that if we didn't want to do it anymore, Broadway would not let us stop. Like the Merchants Association would say, no, you guys got to keep doing this because it's such a big deal.
Yeah. So, that's cool.
And that's fun.
It's nice to have, some, like an event like that that's so culturally relevant and engaging. People want to jump in and participate.
Yeah. Well, if you'll let me talk smack about some other holidays.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm all for that.
I love Thanksgiving and Christmas. You eat, you see your family and stuff, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
You're going to somebody's house and you're sitting on the couch and you're just watching a movie or sports or whatever.
Except Christmas has Krampus. So that could be entertaining.
It does. But Halloween is like
it's all
so exciting and fun and sexy and scary and everybody's pretending to be somebody else. And it challenges people to be creative.
Yeah, it's incredibly versatile. So it's something and like even in like popular medium, so like horror film in particular, you're always seeing like that cross blend of horror as a mode, in a comedy or in dramatic pieces and stuff. But I think the same can be said about Halloween. You've got people dressing up as your idol or something, or your favorite cartoon character. It doesn't have to be anything that's horror or spooky or related. It's just kind of transcendent of the self.
Yeah. So we sold some costume stuff to a little kid this morning, like a 4-year-old with his grandpa, and he wants to be a vacuum cleaner for Halloween.
Oh my God, that is adorable.
And who's even going to think of that? But then you see it, and you're like, yeah, why not? Why can't you be a vacuum cleaner?
Well, and if you permit me to. God.
Sorry, I thought I turned it down.
If you permit me to, my other favorite Halloween store is Home Depot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like, all the piping and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I can just make things from that nature. Take some stuff from Wizard's Chest and from over there, and
Well, that's the cool thing is that when you do it right, people don't see the work.
Right.
When we make. Like this
is
thing,
amazingly elaborate.
She's gonna kill me for saying it, but these are zip ties. Like those.
That's clever.
Those are zip ties with jewels glued onto them.
Yeah.
And,
that's clever.
And like a lot of these are, this is expensive costume stuff. Yeah, but you're never gonna see that when they're walking by and it's in the dark and it's glowing, and you're just gonna be like, look at that magical woman.
Well, even if you didn't mention anything, I wouldn't have caught on. I'd just be like, oh, it's very inventive, and we went to Anderson Farms this last weekend. A friend of my girlfriend's, they rented one of those big fire pits. We had some of our friends from Loveland, and he's an engineer. He had augmented like a drift go-kart.
Mm-hmm.
So he increased the battery capacity, so it wouldn't lose charge so quickly. Yeah. Well, he also made it dystopian. So all the spikes that he made were off of giant zip ties.
Yeah, and it's like Fury Road.
Yeah, the very thick ones. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's very clever.
And that's the thing with all this stuff. I love horror movies, but I'm also thinking about how did they do that?
Right.
Like what we went and saw when the Esquire reopened. We went and saw Alien at the midnight movie.
Oh, that's great.
And you're looking at those gorgeous miniatures, and I'm like, I know that's a miniature.
Yeah.
I know it. It's on the screen in front of me, and I feel like I'm watching space. Like it doesn't feel real to me, And that's the pretend part. That's the really fun part.
Yeah.
Of Halloween.
That suspension of disbelief.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Incidentally, in was it the 26th? I think at Alamo Draft House Sloan Lake, they're showing the documentary on Alien memory. Specifically, I think that's the chestburster scene.
Yeah.
With John Hurt.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Legion M guys that are distributing it, I guess they'll be there. The filmmakers. Yeah, I'm friends with the filmmakers, so I'm like, going to go support my friends. It's like, well, yeah, I definitely want to see that.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the the films as a kid that I grew up and it terrified the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So smart and precise in how it delivered that creature.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to show the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now you just keep pumping those movies out. So it's
but that's the thing about horror is it's such a wide genre.
Yeah.
Like you can do horror comedy and you can do horror terrifying and you can do horror social allegory. You got an Oscar-winning movie like Get Out, and that's a horror movie, but it's also about society and it's also very intelligent. And then you got Child's Play, and it's about this crazy little kid.
And you can remake that too. So we just saw my girlfriend and I just saw the remake to that.
Oh, nice! Is it any good?
Oh my gosh, it was so entertaining.
Really?
Typically I go in with low expectations,
mm-hmm.
but it well exceeded, any of my expectations. Yeah. The design of the doll is very off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as adorable and as cute as the original, but the angle that they took was incredibly relevant for the times too, because it's all tech and no voodoo.
Yeah, that's right, because it is like an AI thing.
Right.
Yeah,
very much so.
So we just went to the Esquire a couple weeks ago and we saw John Carpenter's The Thing, the original.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite movies.
It's perfect. Every frame of it is perfect. But I'm sitting there watching it and I'm looking at all of these amazing models that they've made and all of these crazy creature things and the dog and the head with the legs and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just imagining somebody, I'm like, you got paid to do that. Like you sat down with a bunch of tools and you made this thing.
Figured out how to do it.
And I'm sure Carpenter was like, can you make it a little weirder? And he's like, yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting to see some of that behind the scenes. Like, we took a lot of chewing gum and then we just melted it and that's how we got that drippy. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
it's so like even crossing genres, but like Raiders of the Lost Ark, the face melting scene at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, oh my gosh, that was just like wax. And it's like, yeah, we did it all on camera, no big deal.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like, I love the Marvel movies. I think there's lots of great stuff being made right now, but with the visual effects, with the digital technology, that's not as cool. Like watching The Thing, I'm like, that's a real thing they're in the room with. Like that's a real piece of plastic or something. Yeah, that they're interacting with. It's not a tennis ball on a green soundstage. Like it all feels more real that way. Yeah, you can. It's something there that you can perform off of, and that way also the actor can deliver a more authentic performance. Yeah. Camera. And it's just, I don't know. There's something about being scared. It really is. Like. I think that's why everybody loves Halloween, is because you kind of know that you're safe, and so you just let yourself be scared because it's not going to last forever. Because real terrifying things can happen in the world, and that's intense for people and stuff like that. But when you're watching Michael Myers or Child's Play or Hellraiser or whatever, you're just like, this is fun. Yeah. Well, Matt, it's been wonderful to hang out and with you and Marty. Unfortunately, he had to take off, but boy, I'd love to have Wizard's Chest on as a regular guest. Sometime sometime down in the future, and just geek out more on films and pop culture stuff. No, absolutely, we all love it. Yeah, that's the only requirement of working here is you have to love the stuff that we're selling. Yeah, and it's like I said. It is endearing, It's also, that commonality that people can relate to and communicate with. It's that vehicle. Well, and if I may say, just for us, working for a mom and pop business that has existed in this community for so long, and I bought costumes here when I was a kid, and now as an adult, I'm selling costumes to people my age that are buying them for their kids, and they're talking about growing up in here, and it's just. It's so and it's so cool to have this be a thing in the community that everybody knows. And when I tell people I work here, I love the Wizard's Chest and stuff. And that's no knock on the big stores, they're doing their thing, but that's so special for us. And that just like you do this for the love of it. Yeah, it's very sweet and incredibly touching. Yeah, thank you. But real quick before we sign off, if you don't mind, plug in the Halloween Parade. Broadway Halloween Parade. It is this Saturday, the 19th of October, 6 p.m. starting in front of the castle at 5th and Broadway. 451 Broadway is the address for the Wizard's Chest. We got a big purple castle. You can't miss it if you're driving down the street. You wouldn't even believe how big the building is. Our backstock is just as big. Like this was an old car warehouse. When I'm giving people tours. They're just like, how far back are we going? And I'm like, further. We got a room downstairs called the Dungeon that we keep all the Halloween decor in. That's cool. WizardChest.com has our events calendar on it. We got D&D, we got Magic the Gathering, we got all kinds of stuff going on. We also ship all over the world. And cool. Yeah, we're always here. Nice. Thanks so much, Matt. Appreciate it. Man. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm Dan Crosier with COFOH Live Undead. We'll be at the Halloween Parade this Saturday, so you better be too. But Broncos. Like I had to do it. I couldn't resist. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Dan.